Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the season finale of the 56th season of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. At the end of tonight's 66 lap event, we're crowning ourselves a champion. Question is, though, will it be a new champion or will it be a driver that's already hoisted the championship trophy in their previous career? I'm Seth Cole, up here in the booth, being joined by a guy that's very familiar with what goes on there on the racetrack week after week, the driver of the number 77, Donnie Garrett. Donnie, it's a pleasure to have you up here tonight.
Well, I tell you what, the honor is all mine to be up here with you tonight, Seth. I'd much rather be down there, though. I tell you, it breaks my heart not to be down there, but having some connection issues, and thought maybe I'd be better off up here in the booth tonight with you, helping you out. And I know a lot about these guys, so hopefully we can hear a little bit about them and get this race going. And I think it's going to be a pretty wild one.
Got 30 drivers by my last count that are going to take the green flag. Of course, we're going to be focused mostly on 4 of them this evening with that big championship trophy hanging in the balance. Chuck Mcclure, Grant Wesley, Rodney Sullivan, Tim Nofsky, the final 4. Now, Tim and Grant actually won their way into this round. They've got the 2 previous wins. Chuck Mcclure, on the flip side, though, is a 4-time champion. Nofsky, a former champion in his own right. And then you've got Rodney Sullivan for the first time in the final 4. So right now, do you give an advantage to a seasoned veteran that's already been here before, or do you think that in a case of maybe like a Rodney Sullivan who's debuting here in the championship hunt, there's kind of a nothing left to lose mentality, and so he's got the advantage?
Well, I tell you, I've been in that position about 10 times tonight, and the nerves are just, I mean, it's crazy what the nerves are. And I think Rodney's got the advantage. I mean, he doesn't know what he don't know. And this is his first time in being in this championship. And I tell you, I think he's the guy. And all the other guys, they've won them. They know what it's like, and they know the pressure. And you got Rodney in here that's never won a championship. And I think he's the guy, and they're sprinkled through the field. I mean, Rodney's starting 5th. He's starting the highest of all the chase drivers tonight. And I tell you, I think he's going to stick to the front and stay there.
Yeah, of course, the kind of elephant in the room every week has been the random qualifying draw. Sometimes you qualify up towards the front, sometimes you're put towards the back. And as you mentioned, we've got all of our final 4 intermingled through this 30-car field. And we also have to remember, too, that yeah, there's a championship on the line, but there's another 26 drivers. They want to finish out season 56 with a checkered flag. So there's a lot of different agendas. And as we know in super speedway racing, all the different agendas, sometimes there'll be a disagreement over space. Sometimes it leads to a big wreck. And we haven't really seen a big one, so to say, in the last few weeks. It's been relatively clean and green. We've seen mostly pit stops be the deciding factor in the outcome of races. But if we see that dreaded big one here tonight, it could have huge championship implications.
Oh yeah, and like I say, the guys are sprinkled through the field on this start. You got Chuck starting back there in 31st tonight. Anything could happen. I mean, you can have something big happen on lap 1 and just absolutely ruin his whole night. And hopefully that don't happen. But like I say, you got Grant starting in 20 seconds. You got Tim in 16, and I mean they're right in the eye of the storm tonight.
Josh Metallic is going to start on the final pole here of season 56. The outgoing champion from last year got eliminated in the first round, and so he'll look to finish out the season with another checkered flag. You've got alongside of him Glenn Harris completing row 1, Richard Martin and Wayne Pribnow, they're row 2. You mentioned about Rodney Sullivan's highest playoff contender of the final 4, rolling off the 5th position alongside of Cy Jones in Ken Roberts rather, in row 3. Cy Jones is in row 4 with Meltzer. Top 10 completed by Curlin Hurst and Joe DeSpirito. Nathan Balser, he's going to be alongside of John Godfrey in row 6. Jessica Shelton, Wiley Coate in row 7. Tim Nofsky, one of our playoff contenders here tonight, will be on the inside of row 8. He'll be joined by Greg Palmer. Row 9 finds Bob Dixon and Jeff Crivello. And then completing the top 20, Bobby Farrell and Jeremy Jeffries. Grant Wesley, another of the playoff drivers. He's going to be in row 11 inside of Dave Melson. Dante Ricky and Bob Seminara are going to make up row 12. Row 13 with Kelly Causey and Mark Paglia. Row 14 will find Bernie Mobbs and Mike Rogers. And then Chuck Mcclure deep in the field here tonight. 29th starting spot for the four-time champion and the driver who was the highest in the point standings after the conclusion of last week's elimination race, the final of your final four alongside of Terry Bombard. But we've seen so many times in the past here, Donnie, it doesn't take a whole lot of laps for a driver that is really good at super speedway racing to work their way from the back up to the front.
Absolutely. I tell you, Chuck, I don't think he'll be back there for long. He'll be looking for that third lane up there on the top, and he'll be heading to the front. He'll grab some guys back there that he races with, and you might even see Grant and Tim work with him here early, trying to get the three of them up to the front. But you put the three of them together, and something big happens, man, it could be bad for them. But you can see those guys working together early. Now I don't know about late, but you can see them working together early.
66 laps till we determine tonight's champion. Mcclure looking to be a five-time champ. Nofsker a two-time champ. For Wesley and Sullins, they're looking for the first championship of their career, as at a slow 70 miles per hour, Josh Metallic brings us to our final green flag of season 56.
Oh yeah, Josh get a big old jump out there, and gonna be a sitting duck, but the bottom line is prevailing right now.
The advantage for the time being. Looks like Richard Martin may also get clear on that inside line. We'll probably see them swap up to the top side here in a moment. Oh, Rodney Sullins wanted to get up there, but not quite clear on the 08. Metallic's actually going to stay down there and try help tow Rodney Sullins on the bottom. Little loose there. The 43 of Richard Martin leading the top side.
Oh yeah, they're side by side there. Josh is losing a little bit of room there on the bottom.
Top three on that outside line. That's Wayne Pribnow in the 14, whose third truck on that outside line, the bright pink number 14 truck. As that top line is going to prevail, it will be Richard Martin, former playoff driver from this season, who got eliminated back, I believe it was in round 2. He's going to lead the first lap of the evening. Now the top 3, top 4 all get themselves clear. Rodney Sullins was able to find himself a space up on the top side in front of Ken Roberts.
Absolutely, he had two good teammates there, and I think they let him in and just get him up in that safe spot, and just trying to stay safe right now and not making any crazy moves and try to just ride out these laps.
Watch back there to see about Nofsker, Wesley, and Mcclure. Looks like all three of them have migrated up to the middle line, so we'll start to see what forward progress they can make. Remember, with Grant Wesley, 2 of the races that he's won this season, he's ended up starting back outside of the top 25. So for any of those guys that didn't get good qualifying positions here tonight, certainly not anything to lose sleep over, as now Rodney Sullins, look at this, going to jump up to that third lane with Ken Roberts and Meltzer trying to get the 38 to the race lead. Now, one thing we should make mention of here this evening, for the final 4, it comes down to best finishing position. No bonus point for a lap led, no bonus point for most laps led coming into play in this one.
Absolutely, I think he wants to just get out there and lead, and best place to be is out front. Can't nobody wreck in front of you when you're in the front, and just stay out in the front and watch what happens behind him. And you got Tim and Grant right there in the eye of the storm up there behind him.
Had some strong contenders get eliminated last week from advancing to the Final Four, including multi-time champion Joe Spirito.
Save a lot of fuel if you sit back there in the back and just kind of ease along. I've done it, and you can save.
Now Glenn Harris takes it 3 wide. He's going to go to the race lead. Joe Spirito going to slot into second place. Oh, and now we got a big wreck. Wayne Pribnow has gone around in the middle of the pack. Tim Nofsker up and on his side, one of our championship competitors, and they're scattered all across the back straightaway. Kelly Causey, Jeff Crivello, Wiley Coate. They're still wrecked further back. There's Grant Wesley. He was spun around. Shelton, Hurst, Cy Jones, Mike Rogers. It doesn't look, well, Nofsker is rather slow on the apron there. He did get up and over on his side. I didn't see anybody get extensive damage. It looked like it would take them out of this race, but obviously there's got to be a big question mark right now as to the damage sustained on the 088 and the 88, are 2 previous week race winners.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 88 just got up on his side, and I think Grant just went up and barely touched that outside wall But I think both these guys going to be all right.
Go back, take a look, and see what happened. The 14 of Wayne Pribnow, I believe, was the first truck that I saw out of shape. And it looks like he may already be out of this race. They were 3 wide all the way back through the field, and we'll see if maybe it was just a case of maybe even bumper grab coming into place, maybe just a slight uneven bump from somebody here, but at least 2 we know of our playoff contenders were involved. So we take it back here to turn 1, and here's a look at what exactly happened. Rip now the pink 14 in the middle line. Oh, she looks like, yeah, looks like maybe some bumper grab there off the back of Richard Martin. Caught a lot of air on the back there, and then there you see Tim Nofsker. He and the 43 get together further up. Exactly just how much damage was sustained by the driver of the 088. Looks like his truck came down to rest against the inside retaining wall.
Yeah, probably some minimal damage there. I don't think either one of them took a big shot. I was back there looking at it, and I don't think either one of them took too bad of hits there. But hey, now they got it out of the way. Now they can go racing, and that probably helped their jitters a little bit.
Grant Wesley further back. Looked like a harmless spin for him. And Nofsker, looks like he might be okay. Yeah, that truck didn't spend very much time on its side, and the good news was it never went up over onto its roof. We know that if you get some roof damage, that's really going to hurt you for aerodynamics and straightaway speed. For the most part, the time he spent on his side, he was still partially on those Goodyear Eagles. I think you're right. I think he might be okay.
Yeah, they both. I was watching their pit stops there. Both come in and took 4 tires. Just probably slid around a little bit, probably flat spot those tires, and just want to get in there and get some fresh ones, and let's go racing.
A couple of drivers that might have some damage they'll have to deal with for the remainder of this race. Saw a pretty good hit there from Wiley Coate to the back end of Dante Rookie's 84, so we'll have to wait and see about that. I mean, obviously, you know, Donnie, sometimes what doesn't look like that big a hit can have you several miles per hour off the pace once things get back under green. On the flip side, what could look like a horrible wreck, you all of a sudden look a couple laps later and think, how is he still up there and still competitive? It's really strange the way that the super speedway physics work here in NR, but that's just one of the unknowns of super speedway racing, I guess.
Oh yeah, they. I had one night. The whole back end was missing. I was fastest truck on the track. I was setting some pretty fast times. Everybody couldn't imagine why I was so fast. But yeah, that thing was screaming. But then you get a little front end damage, and you're 10 miles an hour off the pace. So yeah, these physics, you just never know what you're going to get after a wreck. So, but we'll get back to green here, and we'll see what these guys got. See if they can stay in the pack and maintain these positions.
By Jones. Looks like he stayed out to lead a lap, and he'll be coming down pit road this time. That'll turn the race lead over to Glenn Harris. Remember Glenn Harris? He almost was a playoff contender back at the end of the regular season. Had some hard luck in that regular season finale and just missed out on advancing into the postseason. He's obviously still looking for his first win on the season. And I was going to mention just before that wreck took place, we had some really strong contenders taken out of advancing into the Final Four in last week's elimination race, including second place running now Joe DeSpirito, the multi-time champ. Last couple of weeks were not kind to him, had connection problems 2 weeks ago. Last week was involved in a big wreck and had aero damage for the pretty much entire second half of that race. Did not make his way in. So you kind of look at him, Bob Seminara, Bernie Mobbs, Brian Schilling, the 4 that got eliminated. Obviously bittersweet in that regard, but you know, finish out the season with a checkered flag makes you feel a little bit better, I guess.
Oh yeah, there's four very capable champions there, but it just goes to show you how tight this racing is. I mean, one bad week and you're out. I mean, that's how it happens, and you got to be on your game here at all times, and you gotta capitalize on everything and not make mistakes. And sometimes the mistakes ain't yours; they're brought on by somebody else, and it ruins your night. But you just got to learn how to avoid those things. And like I say, you got 4 of them here tonight that's done it. And one of these guys is going to walk away with a title tonight and be a champ.
Are indeed. And one thing that we talked about last week, and we'll just touch on real quickly here, not going to be able to focus too much on it, unfortunately. The bracket series finale takes place here tonight as Bob Seminara and Brian Schilling renewed the rivalry they had last week. And unfortunately, with no Brian Schilling in the field here tonight, it looks like Bob Seminara in that 712 who is in the field this evening. Looks like he's going to be taking the bracket championship here for season 56. So, talk about doubling down for a driver trying to win a race and win a championship. Well, that could be the same case there for Seminara. He could win a bracket championship and the season finale all in one night.
Oh yeah, that's what these other guys want to do tonight. They want to get out here and in the season on a high note, and win something like that, and that takes you on into the next season. You feel good about it, and like I say, one of these guys are going to definitely do it tonight.
So you talked, Donnie, about the possibility of that caution getting the pre-race jitters out of these drivers' systems, and we may get settled in now to a long green flag run. I mean, what is it about that a wreck kind of brings drivers to their senses if it happens in the early going?
Well, it just it calms you down, and I mean everybody's on edge. None of these guys want to ruin somebody else's race tonight. I did that. I decided to come up in the booth because I didn't want to get out there and lose connection and ruin somebody else's race. That's the last thing you want to do. And all these guys, even you got the four that are running for this championship, but you got those other guys that they don't want to mess with. They don't want to mess with that. They don't want to be no part of it messing that up for anybody here tonight. And so they're nervous. They're more nervous tonight than they are any other night of the year, simply because they don't want to be that guy. And so sometimes that actually leads to more problems. So, everyone's got the jitters here tonight. And that, like I say, once you get that first wreck out of the way, everybody calms down. And I think you'll see maybe some green flag here and some kind of follow the leader for a little bit, and let some of these laps wind down, and then start looking at your fuel. Hey, what I need, what window I need to get in. Start getting into some windows, and then run this race out, kind of backwards in a way, like a road course.
Certainly don't want to ruin the chances of a driver battling for the championship, but on the flip side, you can certainly help them as well. I have to wonder, even not only here tonight, but during the course of the season finales past, just how much politicking goes on with a driver trying to get some allies saying, hey, I'm trying to win a championship here. I'll tell you what, I'll push you to a win and ride second behind you to win the championship.
I've done it. I've done it a million times. I've had guys whispering to me, going, "Come on, man, push me because you're fast, and help me, and I'll help you the next time." And sometimes they forget that. A lot of times they don't, but yeah, you just it's a lot of politics. Well, you wouldn't be surprised at the whispering going on out there right now of "Help me, I'll help you," and there's a lot of that goes on during the race.
Green flag about to come back out here. Glenn Harris chose the top side for this restart. Spirito on the bottom. Spirito got a nice jump and he got a good push there from Bobby Farrell in the 92. So it looks like the 24 is going to move out to the race lead here through 1 and 2. Harris on that top side trying to tow Rodney Sullivan's Ken Robertson company, but might be holding them up just a little in terms of momentum on this restart.
Yeah, a lot of times the bottom line, it seems like the top two cars will pull out and then pull up. And you see here what they're doing, they're putting them in the middle. This is going to get three wide here. It's going to get exciting.
That's Dave Melson, the Wonder Bread Chevrolet, number 038. He dives to the bottom. New colors there, the Citgo 31 of Bernie Mobbs. We're used to seeing him with the Leaf Filter sponsorship this season, but mixing it up here in the final race of season 56 as now Melson moves up to the middle. It's still Harris on the top. And oh, Jeremy Jeffries around in the tri-oval. This is going to be huge, and I see at least two of our playoff drivers in that one. Wesley in the 88, Mcclure in the 17.
That was huge.
Greg Palmer looks like he got involved. I think Knopfsker came to a stop and he crept through. Not sure how extensive the damage is on the 17. I saw him facing up towards the outside wall during his spin. There he is. He's continued on. Jeffries, I don't know what exactly happened there. It was like the 8 lost it all by himself, but I'm fairly certain, being in the tri-oval, there must have been some contact.
Grant took a pretty hard shot there to the outside wall. Chuck got bounced around there a little bit. But I think Grant might have come out with the worst of that.
Take a look and see what exactly happened. Started, I believe, with the Oreo Chevrolet number 8, who was up on the top side, running behind Ken Robertson. I almost wonder if there might have been a checkup that took place there. They were pretty stacked up on that top side. Trying to pinpoint who it was. I think it's Palmer that was behind the 8. I think it was a bump gone wrong as they all checked up there, and Bob Seminara up, and he actually went over onto his roof for a brief moment in the 712. Kind of a wait and see now about just how much damage was sustained on the 17 and the 88. We'll focus our cameras on them here for this upcoming replay play. See just how much damage they might have sustained.
Tim, he just took a left. He slowed down, took a left, and just eased on through there. Got on through there clean. I mean, but Tim's a multi-champion, been here forever. He knows how to handle those situations, and he definitely handled that one really well.
You see him just there, sliding by Grant Wesley. The hit there to the outside wall for Grant, I think, is the question mark. There was a follow-up hit where Bob Seminara, I couldn't tell who it was, hit the 712. That hit right there, surprisingly enough, may have saved Grant Wesley's race, because I think if that 712 hadn't been redirected, he was going to be on his side, almost spearheading into Grant's driver's side door.
Absolutely, I tell you, he he got bounced around there pretty good. But like I say, I'm going all over his truck there on the cameras, and I don't see much damage, but we'll see how long he's on pit road here when he comes down.
Mcclure there, slide. He got back on the throttle and was able to continue on. We'll take the onboard here with Nosker, and I've just been told over race control we are only 10 laps into this event, and all 4 of our playoff contenders for this championship are all dealing with some type of damage in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's like I said, the nerves, and everybody's on edge for this race. It's a tough race, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it play out right here in front of us.
The onboard with Tim Knopsker sees the smoke up ahead, takes it down to the apron, takes it lower to the grass. He's able to get through unscathed. Race officials did have to close pit road on the first lap of caution to be able to get the running order correct, because of course you had a lot of drivers that were sliding across the start finish line there, so they had to make sure they had everybody in the correct order before they opened up pit lane for the race leaders. Looks like pit road may be open this time, and we got majority of the field coming down, a couple deciding to stay out, including the 10 of Terry Bombard. Knopsker in the 088 also staying out there.
That's a surprise. Yeah, he's staying out.
Maybe tired of being back there where all the wrecks are taking place. Get up there where it's a little clearer as far as track position.
Yeah, knowing Tim like I know him, I'd say that's what he's decided to do. He's like, hey, let's give up a few laps underneath this caution. Uh, just pitted a few laps ago, so he probably hasn't lost a lot of fuel, and it probably feels a little safer up there at the front than getting back there towards the back and maybe getting caught up to something that maybe not of his own doing.
Well, Tim Knopsker waited pretty late in the regular season to find victory lane, but it was enough to lock him into the playoffs. But then we advanced into that round of 8, and Knopsker wasted no time, found victory lane in the first race of that round, got the first ticket, the first automatic ticket here into the Final Four, and now kind of mixing it up in terms of strategy as, Glenn Harris almost got spun by Joe DeSpirito. Looks like he had a little bit of a connection problem there as they were all bunching back up here coming off of pit lane. So now I'm trying to figure out here. Our last caution came out about 6 laps ago. Everybody was down pit road at that point. Bombard and Knopsker are the 2 that elect to stay out. So they're going to be about anywhere from maybe 4 to 6 laps short on fuel, depending on how much they can save here under this caution period. They're going to have to probably have more numbers come down pit road with them if we go into a long green flag run and see green flag pit stops. You got to wonder if they're already working on that.
Oh, I'm sure they're on the radio now going, hey, I'm gonna need to pit early. Can you go with me? Help me out a little bit, and calling in them favors, because you asked for them, so you're gonna have to call them in too. But I was just on pit road there with Grant, and looked like he wasn't on pit road very long. So I don't think he had much damage out of that.
And Bombard's going to come to pit lane. So Novsker is going to be the only driver that stays out here under this caution period. And he will be the one, looks like, that will bring us to green. Now, one thing that I just noticed was Tim Novsker has made an extra pit stop than everybody else around him. So I'm going to assume that he probably came to pit road at the 1 to green last caution, topped off the fuel tank, and that also could have played a part into him deciding to stay out here for this upcoming restart.
Oh yeah, and he's clutching. I'm on board with him now, and he he's barely got the gas on that thing. He's really clutching to just try to save as much fuel as possible. But he does that all race. I mean, he's one of them smart guys that understand that if you can save a gallon of fuel, I mean that's so many less seconds that you got to be on pit road, and it'll get you out. It'll pick you up 10, 15, 20 positions sometimes. And he's a smart racer, and he's showing it right now. With trying to save this fuel.
The green flag's going to come back out here for our second restart of the day on lap 14. Novsker the leader, Dave Melson in second, Glenn Harris third, Joe DeSpirito will be fourth, and Rodney Sullivan will complete the top five. Bobby Farrell, Ken Roberts, Bernie Mobbs, Mark Pegley, and Richard Martin are your top 10. You got two of your final four up inside of the top 10 right now in the lead and fifth. The other two playoff contenders, Chuck Mcclure in 15th and Grant Wesley back in 21st. And as we said, every single one of our final four now are dealing with some type of damage. None of it terminal, at least from what we've seen so far. So everybody at this point in time still in the running for that championship, but almost kind of like how we started this race. They're all kind of sprinkled throughout the field.
Absolutely, and I tell you, you got to give a big shout out to Rodney. I've been racing here for years, and Rodney's a relatively newcomer, and to be in the chase in the finals this quick says a lot for his driving style and ability, and he shows a lot of respect out there. He helps you, and Rodney's a good guy and very deserving champion if he happens to win this thing tonight. And but I tell you what, you got three other guys that gonna make it hard on him.
Yeah, and obviously, going to victory lane, getting the win to lock yourself into playoffs is important. But you know better than anybody, to be able to win a championship, you got to have consistency as well. And Rodney Sullivan, let's remember that the win that he got this season was after a post-race EOL of the race winner, then Chuck Mcclure. Sullivan's finished in second place, was awarded the win midway through that week. And whoa, Shelton got out of shape back there with Metallic. We almost ended up having our third caution of the day. But Rodney Sullivan's, that was the only victory he's had this season. He's had to point his way into every single round that he's advanced in. So he's definitely got the consistency thing down, which is not an easy thing to do at a track like Talladega week after week.
Yeah, Rodney's got a lot of help. I mean, he's got a lot of guys out there to help him, including myself. I work with Rodney a lot, and he's just a clean racer. And he doesn't make a lot of crazy moves out there. He's clean. He won't screw you over. He's liked. He's a light guy. And I tell you, it's amazing to see him up here running for this championship tonight. As new as he is here, normally it takes years for these guys to get into a position where they're going to win. You see the same guys, season after season in these Final Four, and with Rodney being up there that quick really says something. Yeah, that was a close call back there.
Yeah, sorry for the shout. Curlin Hurst was up and into the wall there in turn one, and a big reason for that was because Glenn Harris was trying to get to the top side of Tim Novsker. The 088 is going backwards. It's almost looking like he might be holding these guys up, so he may have some engine damage or some aero damage, maybe behind the 8-ball here in the early going. Maybe that's why he stayed out as well, trying to see just how up to speed that thing was going to be.
Yeah, we just had a uh-oh moment here between him and Chuck. Chuck about got him there, and they settled it out. But yeah, I think he's definitely a little off the pace at the moment, and kind of holding that whole bunch up there.
Trying to block both lanes. He's got Mark Paglia up there on the top side with him, along with Jeremy Jeffries. Chuck Mcclure on the bottom with Bob Seminara that's actually John Godfrey in the 711. Similar paint schemes on the 711 and the 712s as far as the coloring. You got Josh Metallic just behind them. Also look a little bit further back there. There's Grant Wesley in the 88 trying to draft up to the back of the 39. Now, it looks like Nofsker, now he's up to speed. Chuck Mcclure has fallen back behind the 28. Oh, and
Big
man!
Wow. That was a moment.
There was a lot of slicing and dicing going on there. The 8 moving up, the 88 moving down.
Yeah, 28 is all over the 88. And, I mean, I definitely think Tim's got some damage here.
I wondered if most of these guys back in this pack might be dealing with damage. I mean, I'm not really seeing Grant Wesley gain much of an advantage in terms of drafting up to the back bumper of somebody. Nofsker getting a heck of a push here from Paglia. Chuck Mcclure appears like if his car's in the draft, he might be okay. But as we said, there's different types of aero damage as to how competitive you're going to be. You can run behind somebody and be up to speed, but as soon as your truck goes out in clean air, it's like you hit a brick wall and you go back quickly.
Absolutely. I just saw Tim's truck there hit 202 down the backstretch. So I think he's okay as long as he's got somebody in front and behind. It's like you said, when he gets that truck out there by itself, that's when the aero kind of bites him. But right now he's definitely holding court there.
Dave Melson out in front, and let's not forget Dave Melson looking for a little redemption from last week, finished runner-up in that race to Grant Wesley, so close to getting his first checkered flag of the season, and he's got a strong Wonderbred Chevy Silverado out in front leading this thing, and he's been up here inside the top 5 for the last 2 restarts.
Yeah, anyone in this field can win this race. I mean, all these guys have talent. And I tell you, it's just a great group of guys to race around, and anyone in this field can take a win at any given time.
So with that being said, I mean, last race of the season, you're going to have a bit of a break between now and the start of season 57. Does that kind of get these drivers a little bit more aggressive in the moves they make here to try and take the final checkered flag on the year?
Oh yeah, it's bragging rights. You got a bragging rights for about 3 or 4 weeks. We got an all-star race coming up, and we talked about during that, and it makes you feel good, going into the off season and get that win under your belt there at the end. It really gives you a lot of confidence going into the next season.
Follow this battle here just inside of the top 10. That's Chuck Mcclure being pushed by Josh Metallic. Grant Wesley moving around Tim Nofsker. Those 3 have kind of been in a bare-knuckle fight for 2nd through 4th in the final season finishing results as far as the championship is concerned. So far, it's been all Rodney Sullivan who's been out in front of most of the mayhem, but look at the run the 17 has got. He might be up alongside Rodney here through 1 and 2.
Absolutely, I think he's coming there, and but old Rodney, he's sitting out there just easing along, just not getting any craziness, just biding his time.
Does he maybe move up here when the 17 gets to him? Oh, caution's out. Yellow flag waving, 3rd time today. Not certain exactly who for. I know we've had a kind of a slew of mechanical issues the last few weeks. I'm wondering if 56. That might be, 56, Crivello, and it looks like the engine went south. Caution out. The drivers will maintain the positions they were running in as the field is frozen. Melson will bring us back here to the caution and pick up the pace car more than likely on the back straightaway. Let's jump back and see what exactly happened with Jeff Crivello, but we've really seen the last couple of weeks, it's really been odd. We've seen some random engine failures take place. Of course, here tonight, we've had a number of wrecks, so, very likely that something could have been jarred loose mechanically and finally, erupting here in the 56 based off of previous damage. But yeah, engine goes south heading to the start-finish line here in the Tri-Oval.
I think that caution there helps Tim the most. He's going to be able to come in with everybody and get fuel. He'll probably lose a couple of positions because he'll need an extra gallon or so. But that pretty much saved him there, I believe. And we're right at lap 20, so we're right at normal pit stop anyway. So these guys can get back on track here. This is about when we pit anyway. So everything should be rolling pretty good from here.
Jeff Crivello, when the engine went south, he was up on the top side. He tried the best he could to get clear and move down to the bottom before the caution came out, but unfortunately could not do so. So yellow flag out for the 3rd time here tonight. And I mentioned the fact that we've forgone a lot of cautions here during the playoffs, surprisingly, with so much on the line. You came into tonight expecting we might see a couple more cautions than normal. I mean, there's just so much that's up for grabs right now. Whether you're a playoff contender, whether you're a driver that's been eliminated, whether you're a driver that didn't make it into the playoffs. I mean, everybody's got different things they want to do to close out the year. And, you may not think it would be the case, but it's going to be about, I think, a month or so before season 57 gets underway. But a finish here tonight, a good finish, could be momentum carried into next season.
Oh yeah, yeah. You like I say, you definitely want to finish this race good. You don't want to go out with a wrecked truck and come into the next season knowing that you had a bad finish at the last race. Always feels good to do good here tonight, whether you're running for a championship or not. And it all just flows right into next season because it's so quick. We got a couple weeks off and then we're right into the next season. So it still means a lot.
Working our third yellow flag of the night here, now a third of the way through this race. 28 drivers still on the lead lap that are still running. Two drivers back in the garage area. Jeff Crivello, the most recent retiree due to the engine failure, and Wayne Pribnow, who was involved in the wreck early on tonight, back on lap 6. They'll get credit with 29th and 30th. Battle off of pit road.
Joe Spirito.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, Joe picked up the spot there, and I tell you, that Joe's good on them pit stops. He's good on the restarts. He's pretty much good at everything, but he's definitely good on pit road.
Well, Joe DeSpirito, he through the random qualifying was 10th on the grid, which means he got the number 10 pit stall. And I've heard it said that whether it be Talladega, Daytona, any super speedway, it's actually better to not have the number 1 pit stall. You want to get the pole position, obviously, but the number 1 pit stall, it's a little bit more difficult to get your car or truck in this case going to the commitment line. If you got to stall a little bit further back, you've got better momentum to try and maybe even beat the pole sitter to the commitment cone.
Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, I think it's a two-edged sword. So I think under green flag pit stops, you don't want the number 1 spot. I think under caution, you want that number 1 spot. But all the way back to about 5th or 6th, you can actually gun it out and go full speed. You don't have to watch your speed. You just go, and you won't get a black flag. And that 5th or 6th seems to be, in my talking with everybody, really where they really like to be and prefer to be. Simply because when you're coming out, you got to watch the other drivers, you got to watch your speed, and that takes one thing away that you ain't got to worry about when you're in that top 4, 5, 6 positions. You can gun it out of there, and just basically all you got to do is watch the trucks around you.
So we talked about the fact that for Rodney Sullivan and Grant Wesley, they're both looking for their first championship of their career here in this series. It's been a bit of a championship list streak for the other two competitors, though, as well. Chuck Mcclure of the Final Four, the most recent champion. That was 4 seasons ago, back in season 52. He also has championships in seasons 39, 41, and 43. But for Tim Nofsker, he's running an 8-season championship list streak, all the way back season 38 was when he took his championship. So, while we mentioned at the beginning of the program that, you would think that the former champion advantage might go to Nofsker and Chuck Mcclure, it's been a while since they've hoisted a championship trophy, which I think, even more so than anything else, shows that everybody's basically on a level playing field here tonight.
Oh yeah, I mean, as many as they've won, they've lost twice that many. And I tell you, with the season 52, there, Chuck beat me for the championship, and I still ain't over that loss. I finished second to him that season, and I'm still not over that. But you don't as a driver, you don't forget those things, and it just gives you that more fight in you, for the next season to come back and do much better. But yeah, these guys, man, they've been here before, and they know, right now that it's the middle of the race. You need to calm down a little bit, get your head under you, ride a little bit. It's this ride. Let's let this race come to us. Not force issues, not force. Don't put that truck in bad positions. And I'd say get on the bottom, get on the bottom, stay on the bottom, and like what you saw with Tim there in that last wreck, he just turned to the left, eased off the gas, and down through there just as pretty as you please. The other two get caught up because they're up in that pack, and so that's the way you want to run right now. You just right now you want to avoid the contact, and you want to stick around. You got to be here at the end to win these championships. You got to get through this, 60 some laps before you get to the end, and got to have that truck in one piece.
Still got the gamesmanship going on right now here amongst our final four. Chuck Mcclure elected to come down pit road the last lap, top off the fuel tank, so he's going to be starting deep in the field, back in the 28th position. I think he might actually be coming down pit road again. Yeah, he just left pit road once again to top off the fuel tank just a tiny bit more. We'll have to see how that plays out if this thing goes into a long green flag run. You've got the other three championship competitors, though, up here inside of the top 12. Rodney Sullivan's going to restart in 6th, Grant Wesley in 9th, and Tim Knopfsker in the 12th position. I remember that last week when we talked with Grant Wesley down in Victory Lane, I said he seems to have a flair for last-minute drama. Missed a couple of races at the beginning of this season, was able to find Victory Lane, I think it was about 6 races into the schedule, but he then had to make his way up inside the top 20 in the point standings. Well, he did that, but he also pointed his way up into the top 10 in points, so he didn't even need that victory to advance into the playoffs. Then he wins the elimination race for the first round of the playoffs, wins the elimination race for the second round of the playoffs. I mean, it seems like the guy likes pressure, which is why I was very focused on that 88 here tonight, because it's another high-stakes, high-pressure situation.
I don't think pressure bothers him. I think he enjoys it. I've been racing with him for years, and he's one of the calmest guys out there in that field right now. And he knows what he needs to do, and he's been in this situation before, and he knows, hey, just time of time, and sit here, relax, don't push the issues. And but I tell you, he's definitely one of the best out there. He's an incredible racer.
And we have to remember, too, that this isn't a situation for any of the Final Four where they have to win this race. It's just finish ahead of your competitors. I remember back season 52 when Mcclure took his last championship. I think the Final Four competitors end up finishing 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, all nose to tail, one behind the others. So just as long as you keep yourself ahead of the other three, you're going to win this championship, which means we may not necessarily see them up here in the battle for the race lead or later on for the race win. They may be comfortable just riding back in the top 5, top 10, depending where everybody else is in the field.
Yeah, but don't keep bringing that up, Seth. That brings up bad memories for me. But no, I tell you, Chuck topped off there. Remember he won a race here not too long ago by doing that, and he remembers those things. And Chuck's the smartest racer out there by far. That guy is just, I mean, he does things. You're like, what is he doing? And the next thing you know, boom, he's going by you. And but he's smart. He knows, hey, he's got himself in some sort of a window, and he knows if he tops off a few times that it might sneak one out here, and if this thing starts going green, because I think, we've had 3 cautions, and I think this thing's going to probably calm down at some point, and that's where he's going to shine.
Yeah, Mcclure might be looking for a bookend season. Of course, won the season opener, to your point, on the fuel strategy. Crossed the start-finish line on fumes to be able to pick up the first checkered flag on the year, as Spirito, Melson, Metallic, Sullins, and Jeffries, they're all going to get clear on the top side for the top 5 positions. Now Metallic wants more. He's going to jump up to the 3rd lane. Dave Melson goes up there with him. They're going to catch Spirito out by himself on the middle line.
Oh yeah, they're going to pull Rodney there with them, and then the 8 truck and the 88's shooting the bottom there.
Yeah, you just saw the pass there. Grant Wesley going by Rodney Sullivan. So now Grant Wesley is in the number 1 position to take the championship. Sullivan's going to drop back to 5th, maybe 6th, as he's still there behind Metallic. You got Knopfsker also back there with Mark Paglia. He's just latched on to the tail end of this group.
I tell you what, it's not like they're racing for a championship out there. What do you think?
No, I don't. I think these guys right now, they're racing just to be able to get up to the front. I think that's their main goal right now. 3 wide, 3, 4, 5 rows deep, all the way back through about maybe the top 20.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're not laying back. They're going for this, and I love to see that. I love to see these guys get after it. And you've got 3 wide right there for the championship. You got 3, the 88, the 88, and the 38. A lot of 8s there.
A lot of 8s for sure, and Chuck Mcclure, the 4th driver, he's on that inside line. Last truck on that inside line you see there. He'll be getting up in that vicinity pretty quickly. As Dante Ricky, he's just going to barely edge out Dave Melson. I believe that's going to be the first lap led here tonight by a Toyota. Of course, Dante running on a part-time schedule and looking to see if he can end out the season with a checkered flag. Man, that 92 of Bobby Farrell.
Ooh,
He's fast, but when he gets down on the bottom, those left sides get on the apron, really upsets him, and I think Glenn Harris followed him there. That's why they
yes.
stacked up with Tim Knopfsker and company.
Yes, they got loose. That look like they got loose there behind the 92 and drifted up the track there.
Now, I know that obviously we've documented when you're on the inside line, especially coming off of turn two, the truck wants to push up about a half groove, and that's why we see the middle line have to give some room. Could maybe the reason we saw the 92 and the 08 get the apron, they were trying to turn into the corner a little earlier to avoid that push up.
It's possible. As you see the 38 there kind of drifting back, it's about as far back as he's been tonight. You wonder if he's getting nervous about being back in there.
39, Josh Metallic got kicked up to the high line and no help as he's going to drift back to, looks like that's Ken Roberts and Nate Balser. Grant
Yeah.
Wesley right now in the third position in the championship spot. 3 cars back is where you find that 38 of Rodney Sullivan's.
Yeah, we'll give a big shout out to Josh tonight. He's a little bit under the weather. I hope he's feeling better. And, nothing feels better than jumping out here with these guys and running around, making him feel a little bit better. As Rodney Sullivan shoots the bottom there, looking for to make up some positions there.
He's only looking for one truck right now, and that's that neon yellow number 88 of Grant Wesley. That's where the championship is right now. Joe DeSpirito jumped down there as well. Might give him a bit of a tow. At middle line's getting some momentum. DeSpirito alongside Wesley for third. Almost to the left rear quarter panel of Jeremy Jeffries for second.
Yep, we're too wide there and got that third lane trying to form up there. Just can't get the trucks together.
Roberts got out of shape a little bit there. Second truck on that outside line. Maybe a bad bump from the 79 of Nate Balser. Spirito still pinned down to that bottom line. He's got Rodney Sullivan, Dante Ricky, Bobby Farrell down there with him. How about Mike Rogers there just ahead of Glenn Harris? He's been up inside the top 10 a good portion of the night, just kind of riding there for the moment. And who knows, by the end of this thing, we may be saying his name crossing first across our finish line. I mean, it's the old adage, but it holds true with super speedways. In order to finish first, you have to first finish. Got to keep that truck in one piece.
Yeah, anyone can win this race. I tell you, it's you got a lot of experience out there, and anyone from the front to the back can win this thing.
Now it looks like 26 drivers are in this lead group and all appear to be up to speed. A couple of drivers have fallen back from the lead pack. Not certain if they lost the draft or if they are damaged and off the pace. They are the 7 of Cy Jones and the 80 of Meltzer. So they will obviously be hoping for a caution to come out before they end up getting lapped if we remain under green flag conditions. I mean, we're still seeing 3 wide like we saw in the early going, but I'm not seeing as much pinching and as much less room given as we saw in the early stage. A lot more space between the doors of these trucks.
Yeah, it seems like they've settled down a little bit, and they know they need to log some laps. And I'm sitting back here watching the 17 truck right now up on that high side. Surprises me a little bit. I figured he'd want to be on that bottom. You've got about 15 trucks in front of him there. Something happens. He's stuck up there against that wall, and that's not a good place to be. And with him going in there and topping off that fuel, I think I'd be running down there at the bottom, just biding my time, saving that fuel as much as possible. So maybe get this green flag stop, and he's got to take a lot less fuel than everybody else. And he might just jump out in that lead.
Well, the middle line in this series is usually the preferred line, usually has the most grip if you've got someone to work with you. If nobody's with you, it's the proverbial sucker hole. We saw Mike Rogers get kicked to the back, and there goes Terry Bombard now outside of the top 10, possibly the top 15. I've been there. I know you've been there, Donnie. That is a lonely, lonely feeling.
Yeah, you got your foot in a radiator. It's like, it's just not going nowhere. And you're like, what the heck? And there's nothing you can do. You just got to ride it out and just find a place to get in line and then go back at it again.
Like Joe DeSpirito, Rodney Sullivan may have formed a bit of an alliance. We saw when Rodney jumped to the bottom, DeSpirito went down there with him to try and help pull him past the 88. Now they've jumped up to the top side, and DeSpirito may be going for the race lead here when they get back to the stripe. Rodney Sullivan, by a splitter, has edged ahead of Grant Wesley for fourth.
Well, I tell you, Joe's been a dominant driver here for the last 6 or 7 seasons, and what better guy to jump in behind and push? Like I say, you ain't got to win, you just got to finish in front of the other guys, and what better guy to latch onto than Joe DeSpirito? And then you got Josh there behind you, ton of experience. I'd feel pretty safe right now if I was Rodney.
And now we are side by side, 2 rows all the way back about to the 15th position. Then it's 3 wide from there back to the tail end of this lead pack. Does Spirito lean the top? Whoa, Ken Roberts way up the track. I'm going to assume maybe some bumper grab, maybe a checkup. He's going to brush the wall there off of turn 4. 55 going to the back very quickly. Nice job of hanging onto it though.
Oh yeah, yeah. Them bumper grabs are crazy in this series. Not as bad as some of the others, but you can just be right along, man. That thing, you can touch somebody's bumper and it just throws you to the left or to the right.
Now, one thing I've been hearing from drivers here this season with the trucks, a little bit more of a boxier type hitbox, a little bit easier to line the bumpers up.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better with the bump drafting. You can really get more aggressive. You can hit in the corners if you're hitting the right guy. You know, some of these guys you can't hit them in the corners, but there's several guys that I can push all the way around this track and have absolutely no problem with. But yeah, definitely these definitely line up a lot better than the cars do.
I don't know just how nervous these guys are down in the cockpit, but I'm getting nervous up here just watching how that middle line pins the inside line down through the corners. That inside line pushes up a little bit off of the turns. These guys are not given a lot of room now as they're trying to get momentum for their respective lanes. Spirito is going to edge out just a tad over Dave Melson here through 1 and 2. They should get the momentum again here down the back straightaway on that top side.
Yeah, and these guys are driving like it's 2 laps to go. I mean, they are not giving an inch to the sides, and I mean they are side drafting. I say it works, but I know you guys don't think it do. But I think it works, and but they're definitely doing some side drafting, and these trucks on the bottom are really having a hard time holding them down because they've got them pinched down so tight. And you know, this is a recipe for something big to happen. We hope it don't, but you know, we'll see.
You've got all 4 of your championship contenders in this lead group. There you see Sullins, he's second truck on the outside line. Wesley is third truck on the inside line. Chuck Mcclure right now, I believe he is the 7th or 8th truck on the outside line. And Tim Knopfsker is bringing up the rear right now. He's still in this lead pack. He's had Mark Paglia pretty committed to his back bumper, and I think that may be the only reason the 088 is still up here in this group. If he doesn't have a pusher, I don't think that truck by itself has enough toe, enough straightaway speed to be able to stay glued to the lead group.
Yeah, 28 definitely helps those guys, and so yeah, he's probably sitting back there right now, and you know, Tim called in a favor, you know, say, hey, you know, get back there, can you help me, you know, and that's what Mark's sitting back there doing. Mark's a great guy for that, and anytime you need his help, he'll help you. And like I say, Tim looks like he's struggling pretty good back there when he's by himself. And also, when you get back to the back of these packs, sometimes it's the last truck in line will lose the draft whether you got damage or not. So, you know, he definitely doesn't want to end up the final truck back there. He will definitely probably lose a lap quickly, and so he's just trying to ride this thing out and find his way somewhere. You know, hopefully on this green flag pit stop, what he's probably going to try to do is sit back there, save a little fuel, get in on this green flag pit stop, and then try to make up some positions because he is the hottest pitter on this track right now. No one can come in faster than Tim Noss.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point there, kind of segues into my next question. If we end up seeing a round of green flag pit stops, we have seen during the playoffs how that can kind of be a make or break into whether you're advancing or not. These drivers, a lot of them have mastered the art of hot pitting, but the last thing you want to do is make a mistake with a championship on the line here with pit road.
Yeah, big moment for Tim there. He just about got into the 6 and almost caused a big one back there. But yeah, that can take you out of this race. I mean, if they go in, they get a green, black flag because they're hot pitting, and then we go caution free, they're done. I mean, there's no way to make that back up. So, you know, they got to, even Tim's got to be a little conservative. You got to think about that in these races. There's no tomorrow. So there's no next week, you know, this is it. And so they definitely got to be thinking about that as they get ready for these pit stops here. It should be coming up in a few laps.
Yeah, should indeed. I think we'll probably see them on pit road maybe within the next 5 laps here. Might see some others stay out a little bit longer. We know that Chuck Mcclure came down and was topping off the fuel tank several times under the last caution period, so he may wait a little bit longer before he elects to come to pit road. But Dave Melson, I credit this inside line because it's pretty even. The truck's on the bottom, the truck's on the top. And Dave Melson, he's been able to get himself clear a couple of times on Joe DeSpirito. He could move up in front of that middle line, but he has stayed committed down there to the yellow line. He has kept Jeremy Jeffries, Grant Wesley there with him, and these guys have kept this side-by-side battle going on for the last 5, 6, 7 laps.
Yeah, the combination of Jeremy, Grant, and Dante there, those are three great pushers, and they'll maintain down there. They'll, if you get the right guys down there, I always talk about it. You got to square these trucks up. You can't be a snake. You've got to square the truck in front of you. The truck behind you just got to square you. You got to be like a bullet. If that truck pulls out at all, it creates basically it creates a parachute, and that parachute's going to slow you down. So you want to keep them trucks as square as you can. The squarer you are, the faster you're going to go. And I preach it to guys. A lot of guys will come up to me because I got so much experience, and they'll say, "Hey, what makes you so fast?" And that's one of the things I tell them. You got to square these trucks up. If you stay square on that guy in front of you, you're going to go faster. If you're drifting out to either side, you're going to slow your line down. That's so important in super speedway racing.
I think that top line, while they had some great momentum. Oh, caution. We've got a caution out, actually.
Boy, that come at the perfect time, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, right on the eve of that round of green flag pit stops. And let's see who this would have been for. Oh, Greg Palmer over in turn 4. Like maybe Mark Paglia was involved. Terry Bombard looks a little bit slow leaving the vicinity as well. Caution's going to come out for the 4th time here tonight. I was going to mention the fact that that top line got saved with that caution. DeSpirito, Rodney Sullivan, because they were starting to lose ground. A lot of drivers were migrating from the top to the bottom, possibly in preparation for those green flag pit stops. So they could have lost anywhere from 5 to 6 more spots had that caution not come out. Now they're going to still be up inside of the top 5 here to come down pit road.
Yeah, it looked like the 7-Eleven there tried to get to the bottom line there. You got pit stops coming, so these guys got to get to the bottom. So the 7-Eleven looked like he was trying to get to the bottom. He stacked up everybody there on the bottom, and it just was a chain reaction. And I think that's what caused that wreck there.
Going to take a look here at the incident into turn 3. Bernie Mobbs, I believe, makes the initial contact with the 712 of Bob Seminara. To your point, just a big stack up there. Kelly Causey, I think, was the one that had to kind of bail out of the throttle with the 711 trying to tuck down in front of him. Might have maybe been a slight bit of bumper grab there from the 79 to the 711 also.
I'll be interested to see what Chuck does here. He come in 11th, and like I say, he's got a little more fuel than everybody. So I'd like to see where he comes out to see how much he can pick up here.
But we know that everyone's going to more than likely have to come to pit road at least one more time. And I say more than likely because we have to bring into the realm of possibility that this race may not end under green flag conditions. And there's that buffer of 3 to 4 laps you could run under pacing and maybe be able to save.
I tell you what, we're going to go back with 44. You can run about 20. So if this thing stays green, you could see 2 to 3 laps to go. Trucks start pitting. This could fall right into a guy that knows really how to save fuel is Chuck Mcclure. This could really fall into his hands.
Well, I'll tell you who was right in the middle of that and was able to just get through was Tim Nofsker. His drafting partner, Mark Paglia, for the majority of this run was caught up in it, but Tim was just barely able to avoid all of the spinning trucks, so he keeps his hopes alive here, at least for the time being.
Yeah, and he'll get some trucks behind him now. Those ones will have to pit behind him, and he'll come out. I think when I was watching him a little earlier there, it seemed like he was okay up in the pack because he ran 202 down the backstretch, that's pretty much top speed. So if he's got cars around him, I think he'll be okay. It's just he's got to keep somebody behind him.
And for Tim Nofsker as well, we have to bear in mind that as long as he's up in the lead pack, I think that's what he's got to do right now. We talked about the damage that he's been dealing with. If a wreck takes place and he gets through it as masterfully as he's gotten through 2 of the wrecks we've had here tonight, there's no saying that Rodney Sullivan, Grant Wesley, Chuck Mcclure may be swept up in that, and a stroke of good luck could come in the way of Tim Knopfler. Makes it past them, gets to the start finish line, and wins the championship. But you got to have at least those three within striking distance if something like that takes place.
Oh yeah, that brings up a memory of several years ago. We had a race that the championship changed hands, I think 3 or 4 times from the trial in a wreck. It was a wreck, and the championship changed 3 to 4 times till we got to the start finish line of cars spinning. And the last one, the last car that was in that when it started, ended up winning that championship. So absolutely, that can happen. It's not over until we cross that start finish line.
Dave Melson has had a dominant truck here tonight. He just crossed the start finish line to complete his 18th lap led this evening of the 44, well, the 43 that we have run. 8 laps have been led by Joe DeSpirito, 6 by Glenn Harris. 3 laps have been led by Richard Martin, 2 apiece for Cy Jones, Tim Knopfler, Bobby Farrell, and then leading 1 lap so far here tonight, Jeremy Jeffries and Terry Bombard. But we've seen here in the past where the dominant truck doesn't always go on to win the race. We've also had a couple of cases where, remember, Grant Wesley was one. I think Chuck Mcclure was another, where they led the most laps of the race and went on to take the checkered flag. So we'll have to see. Jeremy Jeffries has been pretty well committed to Dave Melson here in the early going, but you mentioned it. The alliances, they begin at the start of the race. They last most of the time to the middle of the race, but then when you start to get to that 10 to go vicinity, all bets are off, all alliances are canceled. It's every man for himself.
Oh yeah, I'll there's a couple drivers out there that I race with, and we've got the agreement that hey, I'll help you, but with 5 to go, I'm going to race you, and you respect that, but because that's what they're going to do. Then there's other guys that I race with. They're like, look, if I'm on your bumper, I'm pushing you, and I'm not going to leave you, but I expect the same thing when you're behind me. So there's a ton of politics going on out here, and under these cautions, these guys are talking. I mean, they are talking to each other. Um, making plans. I mean, I'm sure right now they're all looking at the gas, going, okay, what should we do? Should we top off? I think you might see some people actually top off here to help get into that window as we see some trucks come to pit road. Yeah, see there, we just had a bunch of them jump off.
Grant Wesley was one of them. That's huge because he would have restarted the highest of the playoff contenders in the 5th position, sharing the same row with Rodney Sullivan. He just gave up a spot inside of the top 5 with the potentiality, the thought process that this thing could go green to the end, and he might be the only one of the championship 4 that can make it the rest of the distance on fuel without having to come back to pit road.
Yeah, because we're going back green here with 20 laps to go, and I tell you what, you can do that if you clutch a little bit and kind of hang out and just kind of hang on to the draft. Um, you can absolutely get 20 laps out of these things. We've seen Chuck do it on that first race of the season. Smart move on Grant. He waited to the last second to jump in there, and like again, one of the smoothest drivers out there, and he just proved it right there.
Yeah, caught the rest of the championship 4 flat-footed. Looks like Knopfler may have also come down pit lane. So if we're looking at drivers that could maybe make it the rest of the way on fuel, the 88 and the 088. I remember back to a race, I believe it was the last season that we had broadcasted, season 52, where Grant was about 3 laps short, I think it was, 2.5, 3 laps short on fuel. The caution came out at the earliest portion it could, where the race would then end under yellow, and Grant spent that entire pacing period clutching, did not, I don't think, even have the engine on hardly, that entire pacing period, and he was able on fumes to cross the start-finish line. So we may see a little case of deja vu here tonight with that type of strategy.
Oh yeah, I remember that race, and one caution though, one caution between now and the end. All that goes out the window. So you look for those guys to be. They're going to do one of two things. They're either going to try to shoot back to the front, or they're going to sit back there in the back and just let these guys start pitting because it'll be close. If these guys stay in the gas, especially the guys on the top. The guys on the top are going to use more fuel than the guys on the bottom. So this will be interesting. This is going to be great.
Well, one tool of this series that we've not really had to implement here tonight is the lucky dog, because all 28 drivers that are still running, they've all remained on the lead lap. I don't think we've had a lap car yet for a restart that's had to go around and get their lap back. We got 2 drivers back in the garage area, so good job by these guys of being able to still stay up here competitive and on the lead lap, as we're going to have 21 laps left here at Talladega in the season finale. Dave Melson gets us back underway.
Yeah, that says so much about RTG and the drivers that are here. Class acts, every one of them are class acts, and competitive, yeah. But I tell you, clean, and that's why we've been so successful for so long. As you see, Dave Melson there move to the top. Dave. I've been watching Dave for several years now, and he's one of those very much improved drivers. And you start improving, people start working with you, and he's one of those guys that's kind of gotten into that realm of, hey, now guys are starting to work with him. They feel safe around him, and he's turned into a pretty good little driver there.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? You have a new driver come into a series, and while they're out there racing, they're also auditioning to have drivers find their comfort level of pushing them, working with them. You're out there trying to gain trust, trying to gain alliances, and we've seen a lot of drivers here in the past seasons here in the Tally Challenge. They've gone from basically a unseasoned rookie to battling up there with the big guns.
Oh yeah, you take guys like Rodney. He's texting me. We're on the phone together. I love that. I mean, the guy wants knowledge. Hey, what's it going to take to be good here? And I don't mind giving that information out. And there's several things you can do here, but the big thing is respect and not driving over your head. That's the big thing here, and showing guys, like I say, showing guys around you the respect, and just not making crazy moves. And Rodney's proved that. He's going for this championship, in this season, and that's just so impressive that he's been able to do that.
Now, we already talked about at the beginning of the show, Chuck Mcclure. He drew the short straw in terms of the Final Four's starting track position based off the random qualifying. He rolled off the grid in the 30th position. But I can't believe that we're saying 48 laps into this race, Chuck Mcclure is now the highest running of the championship four. He's had a bit of an adventurous day, but he's finally there in the closing stages, out in front of the other three championship competitors right now, riding in P4.
Yeah, Chuck's smooth. I mean, he knows where he needs to be, and he knows that there's a time to race, there's a time to ride. He knows all of them things, and he does them. He does all of them, and he's one of the best at it, and one of the best out here, and that's why he's won championships, and I'm sure we'll continue to win more.
Rodney Sullivan still on the inside line. Last time by crossed in the 7th spot. T. Grant Wesley, he's on the inside line there behind Terry Bombard. Last time by he was scored, I believe, in P14. And Tim Knopsker still trying to hang on to the draft right now in the 24th position was where he was last scored when they crossed the start-finish line. We know that potentially the 88 can make it on fuel. We know that the 088 could potentially make it on fuel, but he definitely needs a little bit of luck as he's a bit off pace in terms of speed to the other three. The big question mark still is about the 17 and the 38. Now, we see the 17, he's moved to the front on that middle line. 38 seems pretty committed to the inside line, and you do have to kind of half throttle a little bit on that lower line because it's a little bit more narrow when you're down there. You don't want to run over the truck in front of you because you get a big toe and a big run. So is that possibly aiding the 38 in his fuel strategy preparations?
Oh yeah, yeah. The shortest way around the track's on the bottom, and you are going to save fuel down there. So, and it's safe. It's a safe place to be. If anything breaks out, these wrecks typically go high before they come back low. And if you're at the bottom, you can go to the left and get out of there quick. Whereas you're on the top, you're kind of at the mercy of everybody around you. And so Rodney's taking that advice I give him, and I told him, I said, man, stay on the bottom as much as you can tonight. You get inside about 10 to go, then do what you got to do. But to be there at the end, you gotta be there, and you can't have a tore up truck. So only one that's really seemed to bite tonight is Tim. Tim looks like he might be in a little trouble back there, but we still got a couple up here in the front, and things are about to heat up, I believe.
Yeah, you got the 8 looking on the 38. The 39 was looking on the 8, and the 17 was looking on the 39. Kind of maybe testing the water, seeing if anybody wanted to form a low line there to try and make a move for the race lead, but they all still stay in single file, along with Bobby Farrell there in the 92. Joe Spirito continuing to lead that inside line, which needs more help. Right now, kind of stalled out alongside of Mike Rogers in a battle for the 6th position. So let's say this thing goes green to the end. We've got big question marks really over all of our championship 4 on whether they can make it or not. But if the caution doesn't come out, and you're either right on the numbers or just a little bit short, are you committed at this point? I mean, I would assume that unless you end up running out of fuel with 1 or 2 laps to go, you've got a chance that maybe a caution can come out and save you with around the 4 to go, 3 to go mark. You're not coming to pit road anymore, right?
No, I think what's going to happen in the next 5 laps, as you saw a huge block there, about a 38 on the 39. I think in the next 4 or 5 laps, these guys will. That's when they're going to figure out what they got as the fuel starts to wind down, and you may see a guy like Chuck jump out of the line. That's what he did the night that he won that one race. If he's a lap or so short, he knows he needs to make that up. So I got a feeling that within the next 5, 6 laps, you might see Chuck. If he can't make it, you might see him jump out of that line and get back there and save that fuel he needs to save, and possibly pull one off that way. We're going to be right on the edge here of making it.
We talked about Josh Metallic, the outgoing champion. Last season in the final elimination race, there was a tie for the final and 4th playoff position to advance, and so it ended up being a final 5, and Metallic was able to not only win the race, but win the championship. We know he's not going to be able to hoist the championship trophy here tonight, but certainly would like to end out the season with a W, and he's been getting some good pushes there from Bobby Farrell on the inside line. He's been edging out Dave Melson off the corners, but then the straightaway speed comes back to the top side. He might lead this lap. He does, barely by a splitter.
Yeah, these guys are getting after it. They're not conserving any fuel. It looks like. They are definitely trying to position themselves for the end of this race.
Some of the guys we've got up here in the conversation now that we really haven't talked about much tonight. John Godfrey, 5th truck on that inside line, and Ken Roberts, is 6th truck on that inside line. And why I kind of point him out was we saw him go up the track and get into the wall under the last green flag run. Looks like he was dealing with some connection problems, because then I saw him blink out not too long after that and drop to the tail end of the pack. Looks like those problems have settled out. He's making his way back up here towards the top 10.
Oh yeah. You got the 711 to 55 there behind the 38. Those guys all work together, and I'm sure they're working with them now. I'm sure they're definitely on whisper right now, going, hey, what we got to do? What we got to do to get past these guys? And but like I say, there'll be a lot of biding up time here as you see the 11 there get a little squirrely. And 11, like I say, the 11's still up here running hard, and it's anybody's race right here now. And like I say, for this championship, you got a couple of them up there. They're tight. And I think it's going to come down to possible fuel mileage here.
Well, you see them. I think they're trying to shove Tim Nofsker to keep him in this lead pack, and he almost got bumper grabbed off the nose of Richard Martin. They're trying desperately to keep that 088 competitive here and still in the championship hunt. You may have seen the last time these guys came around out of turn 4 and through the tri-oval, the rear decklet of the 80 of Meltzer on pit road. I believe the leaders were catching him, so he did the smart thing, went down pit lane, did not get involved in them having to maneuver their way around him. He is off the pace after getting pretty good hit from the first wreck this evening. Right now being scored 1 lap down in that 80 machine, so he would get the lucky dog should we get a caution, but gentlemanly move there on the 80, making sure that he doesn't affect the outcome of the race win or the championship.
Yeah, in that wreck, you would have thought that the other 88 of Grant Wesley looked like he took the worst of that, but as you say, with these physics, you just never know, and Grant seemed to come out all right, even though he looked like he took the harder hit in that.
There's your championship battle right now, 17 on the top, 38 on the bottom. And we talk about the point of no return. We've seen this season how that point of no return, trying to time when and if the caution is going to come out to end the race, how difficult it is to plan to make a move for the win. Imagine how much tougher it is to try and figure out how to make a move for the championship, because it could be a splitter that decides this thing.
Oh yeah, I mean it's going to be. I wouldn't venture to say they might be 4 wide going for the championship, and I've got a feeling that Chuck's just sitting up there biding his time. Chuck wants to be up on that very top, and I got a feeling he's going to watch that line, probably trying to come behind him. And if it does, you're going to see him jump out there and try to lead that and sneak this thing out.
Side by side for the 5th position. Sullins and Chuck Mcclure. Looks like they are catching the 7 of Cy Jones, so that will be a machine they'll have to deal with in the next lap or so. The inside line, all of a sudden, I don't know if the outside line has lost numbers or if just the inside line is better formed, but all of a sudden, Metallic, Farrell, Spirito, they've gotten clear on that inside line. Rodney Sullivan's looking to do the same. Dave Melson, a couple of laps ago, was battling side by side with Metallic for the lead. He's now dropped back to the 5th position.
Yeah, and it's all about combination. You get the right combination of guys down there that can, again, like I say, stay square, and push at the right times. That bottom lane's fast. You just got to have the right guys down there. And like I say, you got the 39, the 24, and the 92, all great pushers and drafters, and that's why that line's prevailing.
Ty Jones going to yield way up high. They are going to catch Meltzer in the 80 again, it looks like here. He's over in turn 1. And I noticed that when that outside line was dying, Chuck Mcclure, very aggressive move from the top to the bottom, right behind the 38 of Rodney Sullins, keeping that championship just outside the windshield.
Oh yeah, that door opened and he went into it. So he definitely opened the door and took it. As we see
Whoa!
a car warping there, the 24 wisely jumps out the way there and then jumps back down. But yeah, we definitely don't want to see a warp cause an issue here to affect any of these championship contenders.
Definitely not. I think Mcclure backed off the throttle a little bit there. That's why he's lost touch with the back bumper of Rodney Sullivan. He might be backing up to the 7-Eleven of John Godfrey to potentially get a run here. Now, one driver that we thought was more than likely the best on fuel that we really haven't seen make his way up here to the front is Grant Wesley. That could be by design, and that says to me, I think the 38 and the 17, they aren't going to be able to make it on field. They don't have a ghost of a shot. They need a caution to save their championship. Grant Wesley, this race, if it stays green, it may have played right into his hands with that last-minute call to pit road.
Oh yeah, yeah. That last minute call he made there, he made his bed, and that's his strategy right now. He's like, look, if I'm going to win this thing, I can win this thing on fuel mileage. I ain't got to get up there and race and possibly put myself in a wreck situation. I can win this thing just sitting back here relaxing. And you've seen guys win it like that. And again, Grant, like I said earlier, one of the smartest racers out here. And I think he knew he was right on that edge of making it. So it definitely could be a planned move on his part.
You saw Wesley last time by in the 20th position. Not anywhere up here towards the front, potentially because we're going to see a lot of these guys up towards the front have to dive to pit lane. Lap 61 went on the board, 6 laps to go. With right now lap machines, when we come around to complete the 62nd lap of this race, we basically entered into point of no return territory where the race will more than likely end under caution. So we'll see how long these guys are going to wait before they eventually come to pit road. Will a caution save their opportunity to be able to kind of putt around under pacing to pick up a championship, or will they eventually have to throw in the towel and dive it onto pit lane?
Yeah, I tell you, right now they've got a 55 warping there a little bit. Rodney needs to keep the 17 right where he's at. If he gets out there and 17 gets clear, 17 is going to go up. But if he can keep him trapped right there, that might be Rodney's best move to possibly win this thing by keeping Chuck, kind of trapped in that little hole right there.
And Roberts has disappeared in the 55. Hopefully we don't see him reappear in the middle of the pack. We saw him, looked like he was trying to go low on the back straightaway, and I believe he may have fallen out. We got a wreck.
Big trouble.
Palmer up into the catch fence. This race is going to end under yellow. Rodney Sullins ahead of Mcclure for 4th crossing the line. Metallic taking the caution as the leader. Now begs the question, have you got enough fuel to be able to save enough under pacing to get back to the checkers? Because you're still going to have to complete 3 more circuits under yellow.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. If it was 20 laps, I definitely think these guys got enough. But you ain't gonna hear these motors running at all. And if so, that'd be congratulations to Rodney on just an incredible championship.
Go back and see what brought out the caution for the final time tonight. Greg Palmer visiting all 4 levels of the catch fence there through the tri-oval. Appears Dante Ricky was involved. Both of those trucks out of the race already. We'll see where the contact began. I also saw the 79 of Nate Balser was on pit road. Focus on the 22, see if the incident started around his vicinity or not. It may have been a little bit further up ahead. Oh, no. Little stack up there on the bottom. Kelly Causey into the back of Nate Balser. And just a ton of trucks migrating up into the wreck there. Bernie Mobbs went for a wild ride. Bob Dixon, Bob Seminara involved. There you see Dante Ricky down through the grass, bottom of your screen. And at that point in time, too, you know you're racing back more than likely to the final caution of the day. The
And
race is going to end under yellow, so
these guys are
there's not
pitting.
a lot of lifting that goes on.
Yeah, these guys are pitting.
I'm hearing that there's a lot of front runners that might run out of fuel right now.
Yeah, we got 38 on pit road and 17.
Oh boy. Not able to make it on what they've got in the tank. That now puts the ball in the court of Grant Wesley.
38, first off pit road there. You got Grant Wesley out there, though.
I'm pretty sure this race is going to end under yellow. Maybe we get a one-lap shootout. Maybe that's what the 38 and the 17 are banking on here. Because in my opinion, if you're going to run out of fuel and this race is going to end under yellow, run it until it's dry. You got nothing to lose here. There's a championship on the line. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll be able to cross the start-finish line on fumes. I don't think you would throw away a championship like this if you've got the top position of the Final Four, unless you are of the opinion that we're going to get ourselves one more lap of green flag competition.
Oh, yeah, but you got the 17 to 38 mired way back there right now. That's a surprise that both of them guys come in, because I thought they could have clutched and definitely made it these last couple of laps. But we may get a one to go. I don't think there's any cars a lap down, so that'll take one of the laps of caution away.
Came back quickly here to live action because I heard over radio communications race leader, the 39 Josh Metallic, may run out of fuel before this thing comes to a close. You got Bobby Farrell right behind him, Joe DeSpirito, and Jeremy Jeffries. These four did not come to pit road during the second or third lap of the last caution. Grant Wesley in the 5th position did. So if these four can't make it, he more than likely can, along with Terry Bombard. I believe he and Grant Wesley were on the same strategy fuel-wise.
Yeah, I mean, that topping off there, 20-some laps ago, could have won a championship for Grant tonight. And, it just goes to show you gotta think every lap of these races and what can you do to get better at the end. What's going to help you? And some of those moves will bite you, but some of them will win you a championship.
2 laps to go, crossing the line there for Josh Metallic. It's a lot to ask that fuel tank to get you around nearly over 5 miles of racetrack. There you see him going down to the apron. Same for Bobby Farrell, trying to make sure the fuel goes down to that intake. The banking on the turns here might end up taking away your opportunity of getting as much fuel into that intake as possible, start you sputtering. I noticed that DeSpirito and Jeffries, they're staying up there on the banking, so maybe the 24 is good to make it.
Well, I think Josh led a lot of that, so he's going to use more fuel. So the guy out front's definitely going to be the one that's a set and duck when it comes to the fuel mileage.
Drivers out of the race from the wreck we just saw to end this evening's event under caution. Nate Balser, he's going to finish 26th. Greg Palmer, who had that wild ride, he'll be 27th. And Dante Ricky in 28th. Everybody else have come down pit road that were damaged and have made the repairs necessary to get back out there and just try and finish this race out. Cy Jones, we saw lose a lap under green flag conditions. Meltzer lost 2 laps. And Ken Roberts, who we saw fall out, he lost a lap as well. So right now, projected 22 drivers will finish this race on the lead lap. But there's still the question mark of how many are going to finish this race under their own power.
Oh, yeah. And like I say, we're definitely not going back green. So, again, I'm just surprised that those two, Chuck and Rodney, come in. I mean, they were racing pretty hard up there, so they may have used up their fuel a little bit there doing that. and that could have been the reason. But like I said, when I said earlier, Grant just sitting back there, just easing along, not pushing anything, probably clutching a little bit, and sometimes not being the fastest guy out there, sometimes it's the best.
But you brought up the point that Josh Metallic, when he was battling with Dave Melson, then eventually got to the lead clear, he led a good portion of this last run, and he's still staying out. Rodney
Oh yeah,
Sullivan and Chuck Mcclure, they spend most of that run running in the draft, so I would think that they would have been better on fuel than the 39, and he's been able to make it this far.
yeah. We'll see what happens here in this last lap, but I definitely think that I definitely think they could have made it. With if Josh can make this, I think they definitely could have made it. But I really think they may have thought that we were going back green.
Like Curlin Hurst, not certain if he couldn't make it on fuel or not, but he just came down pit road the last lap and made the left-hand turn to the garage, so he will, looks like, finish out the final race of the season in the 22nd position. And this has got to be maybe the most grueling final half lap for Josh Metallic. I wonder if he's even looking at his fuel gauge. I wonder if he's just throwing in the clutch and just waiting to hear if that thing's going to sputter or not. If I'm him, I'm not even looking at the dial.
Oh, I probably see he's looking at the dial and
Oh, Farrell's out. Bobby Farrell's out in the 92. So he will not get second. Now it's the 39.
Wow. Can the 39 make this last little stint here?
Remember, you got to finish under your own power. You can't have somebody push you across the start-finish line if you're out of fuel. I'll bet that's probably the quietest turn 3 all season long. I'll bet everybody's thrown the clutch in there.
Oh yeah, you don't hear no trucks running right through there. Only thing you hear running is the pace truck. And I think he's low on fuel too.
We talk about that extra few hundred feet at Talladega from the middle of the tri-oval down to the start-finish line. Who would have thought we'd talk about it here in the closing stages based on whether you can make it that final 100 feet on fuel? If this was Daytona, Metallic probably be able to coast the start-finish line right here. But that extra few hundred feet, will it be the difference maker? Spirito jumping up to the top thinking the 39 might run out.
Yeah, he might be communicating with him right now. That could be a sign that he's probably on zero, I'm sure. But like I say, does he have enough momentum to just coast these little last sections here?
Looking good here for Josh Metallic. He is going to cross the line, and he gets it.
And Grant Wesley wins the championship. What a race! Again, one of the smartest guys out there, and he definitely deserved it tonight as he's flipping there. And like I say, this definitely smart racer, man. And I'll be interested to talk to Chuck and Rodney to see how tight they were on fuel.
Absolutely. You kind of wonder what the fuel numbers might have been for the 88. Just how close was he if we had had another lap of pacing? But man, that is impressive there for Josh Metallic for him to have been able to make it. And again, kind of throws in the question of why did Rodney Sullivan and Chuck Mcclure come to pit road if the 39, who had been out in front for a good portion of the last run, was just barely able to make it back to the start-finish line. But Grant Wesley, we talked about it, seems to have a flair for the dramatic in terms of the not necessarily the must-win situations, but certainly the nail-biter situations, and he does it here again tonight with a pit strategy call all the way back on lap 44.
Oh yeah, he wins in style, and he definitely proved that tonight.
I think that 39 still, he's still under power, so he was good to make it maybe another half lap. I don't know if he's going to have enough to be able to come around and do burnouts, though. That's a big question.
If he does, we might want to take that truck there. He might want to have one of them Darrell Waltrip fuel lines in it.
I think everybody's going to be lining up trying to buy one of those fuel tanks next year.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get one of those for myself.
He's going to coast it down here to the start-finish line. I think he's going to be able to do a victory celebration, and we'll probably see in a few moments as well Grant Wesley enter into the vicinity to burn it down for the championship. I think he's actually already doing a burnout there. There he is.
Yeah. And that's such a great feeling.
First win, or first championship for Grant Wesley. I just heard Metallic's out of fuel. He had enough to get to the start-finish line, but not enough to be able to do the burnout celebration.
That's cruel, man. To survive all that way and then just can't do his own burnout. So, but hey, he'll take that win. He'll be happy, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Grant Wesley looks like he may have ran out of fuel right there as well, doing his burnout celebration. What an incredible finish to this race. It ends under caution. Even then, we didn't know who was going to win the race and who was going to win the championship. But the outgoing champion, Josh Metallic, will take the final checkered flag of the season. And Grant Wesley, who finishes fourth, will be the defending champion heading into season 57, as he will be your season 56 champion here in the Talladega Challenge. They bookend Joe DeSpirito with the second place run. Jeremy Jeffries going to bring it home in third to end out the year. Terry Bombard going to complete the top five in fifth, with Glenn Harris, Tim Nofsker, Richard Martin, Bernie Mobbs, and Bob Dixon the top 10. I know he didn't win the championship, but with the car as badly mangled and at a deficit of speed as it was, Nofsker bringing it home in the seventh position. That's an amazing comeback run for him.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And hey, we still got race review, so you never know. Um, but again, surprised that surprised those two jumped on pit road. But I tell you, it's just a testament to RTG and the drivers. You got to thank David Cannon, Sean Prime for just putting on some of the greatest racing out there. In my opinion, some of the greatest super speedway racing in the sim community. And we proved it here tonight. It just come down to fuel mileage, and as you can see, the coasting. Um, these guys are so experienced at everything and can handle anything. They can handle that, and just a great win for Josh, and that'll move him on to next season. He'll be pumped up, and I know he's not been feeling well, like I say, and I'm sure that win will definitely make him feel a little better tonight. And like I say, he is the head ad man here with Tim and Wiley, and those guys do such a great job and keep us all straight. And it's a little tough at times, but they keep us all straight, and definitely proud of him tonight.
Yeah, win definitely is the best remedy. And, kind of apropos, seems kind of fitting that the season began with fuel strategy in the closing stages in the season opener, and it ends with fuel strategy here with a win and the championship on the line. We're now going to go down trackside, see if we can talk with some of our podium finishers here this evening. Let's see if we can get tonight's third place finisher, Jeremy Jeffries. Hey, Jeremy, it's Donnie and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
I do. Hey, Donnie. Hey, Seth.
I'll
Hey
tell
man.
you, I mean, what a way to finish out this season. It came down to fuel strategy, but not really in the sense that we would have expected. It came down to who could coast across the start finish line under their own power. I mean, obviously, we saw here tonight the early yellows having to kind of make your way through the big wrecks, not get torn up. We saw the pit strategy kind of come into play the middle portion of the race, and then it all culminated at the end. I mean, obviously, you might have thought you were in the catbird seat with the other guys up ahead of you there, kind of looking at their fuel numbers. If this thing had gone back green, though, where were you situated fuel wise?
I was situated where I was running out as soon as it went back green. I was not going to make it. I actually was down below 3 pounds when I crossed the line there for the checkered flag. So, uh, but yeah, this was a crazy race. This is a finale worthy event because there was so much just carnage and strategy and clutching. There's some guys that probably should have made it, that should have stayed out, that probably could have clutched, that didn't because they were scared we were going back to green. And then people like me who had nothing to lose, I was like, well, I'm just going to see what happens.
Right, different strategies, for each racer, and like I say, you're right there. So if we went back to green, you might have been in a catbird seat there to sneak one out there.
It would have been interesting for sure. I don't think any of the top three guys had a chance of making it on fuel if it went back to green.
Yeah, we'd seen Grant top off there a couple times at the on that last caution, and we were thinking maybe he was about the only one that really probably could make it if it had stayed green.
Yeah, he was even going to be close. I'm pretty sure that there was even a chance that he might have had to take a splash if we'd stayed green. But yeah, there's no way. I had to take at least half a can if we went green all the way.
Now, we ended up talking about the fact that in this season finale, everybody's got a different agenda. You've got the playoffs that are on the line. You got the bracket challenge that's going on. You got a lot of drivers that are trying to end out the season with a W that don't have the title weighing the balance. You talked about it here, having nothing to lose. You ended up obviously being up there at the front. We had a lot of our championship four up there in the vicinity as well. Had you been approached by any of those championship four to try and have them work with you and you work with them, kind of have a mutual agreement of keeping you guys both up at the front?
Well, I mean, it's no secret that Grant and I have always worked together, but so of course we were going to work together. There was not too many conversations outside of one other person, but I was just going to help whoever was there at the end. It wasn't really about who I wanted to work with, who I didn't want to work with. It was, just trying to get the championship for somebody, and I didn't have to make that decision there at the end, so I'm thankful.
Yeah.
The race
Seth,
was kind of decided for us.
Seth, I don't think he wants to tell us who he was talking to.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Keep the cards close to the chest. Well, Jeremy, I know obviously you would have loved to end it out the season with your first win on the year in this finale, but a great performance for you here tonight. You bring it home P3, and now we'll give you the opportunity to thank some sponsors and do some shout outs.
Oh, well, thanks to you all first off for this season broadcasting. It is great to have you all back and just watching these back, especially with Donnie in the booth tonight. That's a nice little addition there at the end. So I kind of like to hear his perspective on things, being in these races every week. And of course the Sean Prime and Bones for the league and making this all happen, keeping us with a place to race, and all the admins to do a great job. Josh on his win tonight. I didn't think he had enough fuel even clutching, so congrats to him. To Grant, he won the bracket and the overall championship, so congrats to him. 2 championships in one race. And gosh, Rodney for painting up my beautiful Oreo truck I was racing tonight. And that's really about it. It's just great to have a good finish.
Well, solid finish to end out the season for Jeremy Jeffries. He'll look to carry this momentum into the season opener in season 57, starting in September. Jeremy, congratulations on the good run, and good luck next year.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Good run, bud.
Thank you.
All right, let's see if we can get our second place finisher here tonight, Joe DeSpirito. Hey, Joe, Donnie and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Hey guys, I got you. How you doing?
Well, doing good. I'll tell you what, man, we have seen so many seasons. You come into the finale in the hunt for the championship. We've seen you close it out so many times, hoist that championship trophy. Different situation here tonight. Didn't advance into the final four. So, was the pressure off your shoulders here tonight to just go out there, be a little bit more aggressive, and try and end out the season with a W, or would you have liked to still had that pressure and be in that hunt for the title?
Yeah, it was weird, man. I made 12 straight Final Fours, and this is first one in 4 years that I missed. So yeah, the pressure was off. Guns blazing, going for the win. It was nice. It was kind of a relief to drive like that, making all sorts of different moves that I don't normally make instead of being cautious. And yeah, it was fun to ride like that. I tried, and only could come up one position short, second. Congrats to Josh and Grant.
Joe, how close to on fuel was you there at the end? I know everybody was clutching, and you guys were kind of dropping below the line and stuff like that. Was you close?
It was showing 4 laps left with 2 projected on fuel, so I saved 2 laps on the under the caution. So I had 1 lap left on fuel at the end there, so it was 1-1 when I crossed.
Yeah, we definitely were up front all night and had a great race. And yeah, like I say, it's bittersweet there. I know you've been in most of the finals, and I run with you a lot and love running with you. And like I say, got a couple weeks, and we're going to go at this thing again.
Oh yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm hungry now. That last race got me hungry again.
Great race tonight, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Let's see if we can now turn the mic over here to you, Joe, and let you do some thank you sponsors and shout outs.
Yeah, I want to congratulate Josh on the win, and I want to congratulate Grant on the championship. He deserves it. I held him back a couple times. I stole a couple championships from him. Me and him had some good battles over these last couple years here, and he deserves it. He's actually a nice person. He's a class act. So I like to see when nice people actually are deserving of winning. And like I said again, class act, nice person, great to run with, clean racer. I'm really happy for him. So congrats to him. I want to thank you guys for being with us all season. FRN, RTG, Josh had a great series on Thursday nights. My Florida boys, Mobs Motors, FTMF. I want to thank my sponsors, Old City Fly Shop out of St. Augustine, Florida. And yeah, just everybody watching at home, all my work buddies, family watching. That should be everybody. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Joe DeSpirito putting the drivers for the upcoming 57 season on notice. He's hungry to get back to the Final Four and get another championship trophy. Congrats on the great run here tonight, though, Joe, and best of luck in that new season.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Let's go down to Victory Lane. Let's see if we can dial up tonight's season finale winner, Josh Metallic. Hey, Josh, it's Donnie and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
I do.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. I think you might want to take that gas can, put it on eBay, because I think there's going to be a bidding war of all the RTG drivers to try and install that in their machines for next season. I mean, how the heck did you manage to make it that far on fuel after leading so many laps on that last green flag run?
Yeah, I borrowed Grant's gas cans this week. He didn't know if I stole it from him, and man, it held on. I felt real bad for Bobby Farrell. He ran such a good race. He pushed me real well. We were on the low line, which can struggle, and he kept me up there the whole time. And I was coming to pit. I was literally coming into pit the lap before the yellow came out, and he bailed and said, "I'm going to stay out one more." So I'm like, well, I'm not pitting by myself. So I stayed out. And then as we came around turn 4, I'm getting ready to pit, and the yellow comes out, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to make it when we get this yellow. And yeah, I had enough, but I didn't know until coming out 4 if it was going to be enough to get across the line or not.
Yeah,
Now, oh, good.
I was gonna say, Josh, whatever you do, don't put that thing on eBay. You name your price, and I'm gonna buy that fuel cell from you.
Yeah, well, eBay, Amazon, I think the eBay does the highest bidder thing, so that might, I'll throw in the forums, the RTG forums. I might where get the most bang for the buck.
There you go.
Now, Josh, we know that obviously last season at this time you were the champion. You were down there in championship victory lane. This season, unfortunately, did not advance past the first round. But is this a statement victory? Because obviously the outgoing champion, but got to be carrying this momentum into season 57 and got to be putting the rest of the field on notice of, hey, I may not have been able to go back to back, but I'm going to be in that title hunt next season.
Yeah, I think it's good to end on a high note. I know a lot of guys are hurting tonight, especially those chase guys. So many got caught up in wrecks in the first 10 laps, and this next 2 weeks being off is going to be really frustrating for them. Knowing what could have been, and to have it kind of just gut punch in the first 10 laps of the race, and it's like, oh. So yeah, for winning at the end of the season, you're on a high and feeling good. I normally look forward to those 2 week breaks, just kind of decompress and take some time off. But when you win, it's like, hey, let's do it again next Thursday. Let's keep this thing going.
Well, Metallic's pit crew probably had to push his truck back to victory lane, but in this case, it's not about the journey, it's about the destination, and he gets to celebrate here tonight, winning the season finale of season 56. Josh, congratulations, and now we're going to hand the mic over to you for some victory lane. Thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Well, appreciate it. And first off, obviously, congrats to Grant to miss the first couple of weeks of the season when you're dealing with 30, 40 car fields. And then to win, and not only that, to point your way in, and then win the championship. That's unheard of. And the bracket series, he won them both. So big time congrats to him. Gotta say thanks to Tim and Wiley. I was out last week, and they always run things really, really well. Help me throughout the season. They're always there, so really appreciate them. Sean Prime, Dave Cannon. They do a lot of work every day, every week to keep this place running so smoothly for us. And for you guys, appreciate you, Seth, all season. Michael as well, and Donnie for stepping in tonight. I can't wait to watch the broadcast to hear the Nature Boy do his broadcast debut. I'm sure he did well. And the drivers, big fields, and it's kind of a rough one tonight, but you've seen it throughout the season. We go 3-4 races in a row with a caution, maybe. So it's all every week's different. That's why I keep coming back. It can be a mess or a beautiful thing, and it's fun. So I'm talking too much. You got to get to Grant. He's the winner. So I'll shut up. But thanks, guys.
That's Josh Metallic. He is your final winner of the season here for the 56th season of the RTG Talladega Challenge Series. Congratulations once again, Josh. Go and enjoy this victory. Hope that you feel better, and we look forward to seeing you continue this momentum at the start of season 57.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Well, Josh Metallic, one of two drivers that went coast to coast this season, here tonight, pole to win. The other driver that managed to do it, we're about to talk to him. He's your champion here, Grant Wesley. Grant, it's Donnie and Seth up here in the FRN booth. Got a copy?
Woo! Yeah, I got you.
I'll tell you what, I said this last week. It seems like you like the high pressure situations, and we were coming into one here tonight. But I want to go back to lap 44. You make the call there, coming to 1 to green, to dive onto pit road, top off the fuel tank. You gave up a lot of track position to do so. I think you were going to be restarting in the 5th spot. At that point in time, did you think this is the race winning move, or was there any point during that green flag run prior to the caution that you were second guessing that strategy?
So yeah, I have to admit, whenever I made that decision, I kind of had a little smile on my face because I felt like, as chaotic as tonight was from the start of the race, I felt like the chances of another caution coming out were pretty high. So I was sitting there, I was like, man, you want to play it safe, you want to kind of go with the grain sometimes, especially when you're racing for a championship. I had, Chuck and Tim was behind me. I was right there with Rodney. I was in good position there on that caution, but I was like, you know what? If I pit here, if there's another caution, I won't have to pit, and those guys will, and that's what will get it for me. So, yeah, that right there was what made it.
Yeah, I said it. I called it there. When you went in, I said, that could be a championship winning move because I knew we were going to go back with about exactly 20 to go. And I know our fuel mileage is 19, 20 laps. And if you sit back there and just conserve that fuel, those guys, as they start running out, they may start backing off. Well, you can keep the hammer down. And, of course, it could bite you. You could have got caught up in a wreck back there. But, sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. And, tonight, you definitely made that championship winning move, and I said it. I said it all race. You're one of the smartest, cleanest, just one of the most awesome guys out there to race with, and definitely deserving of this championship, man. Congratulations! And like I say, we we were watching you the whole time up there, just conserving that fuel.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. I've been racing here with RTG since I think it was season 42. And this actually Thursday nights was where I started at, and I've wanted this championship for a long time now. I've won races, I've been in the final four several times, and I can't even express what this means to finally get this monkey off my back.
Yeah, as you mentioned, been close so many times, been up in the Final Four so many different seasons. You finally close out the deal. Now you got about a month to be able to let it sink in before you go right back to work in season 57. I mean, what does this championship win now do for you in terms of motivation? Because I know you've had this pressure going into Final Four situations, come up just a little bit short. You finally get that monkey off your back. So, are you even more motivated going into next season? Does the strategy change a little bit when the green flag drops for the new season? I mean, what are we looking at here out of you when we start up the next season coming in as the defending champ?
Yeah, so very excited for season 57. When the green flag drops on race number one, it's going to be business as usual. It's just, put your nose to the grindstone and, just try to get every win I can, and just keep doing what I have been doing because it worked for me this time.
Certainly did. I mean, an adventurous season for you, Grant. Missed out on the first couple races on the year, won race 6, pointed your way up not only into the top 20, but into the top 10. You win the first elimination race of the playoffs, you win the second elimination race of the playoffs, and then you win the championship here tonight with the fourth place run. I mean, a storybook season. Congratulations. And now, one final task for you here. We're handing the mic over to you for some championship thank you sponsors and shout outs.
Okay, first and foremost, my four competitors, or my three competitors there, Rodney, Chuck, and Tim. My heart goes out to Rodney because uh, he kind of pinned himself as the underdog here in this group, but I'll be dang if he wasn't in position there at the end. I mean, this one was a near miss. He almost had this one in the bag. He did everything that he needed to do. So, my heart goes out to him. I've been there. It hurts. Chuck and Tim, great competitors. I'd like to thank you guys, FRN, for doing the broadcast. Cannot wait to watch this one back. This one is one I'm not going to forget for a long time. Thanks, Donnie, for jumping up and giving Seth the hand. I like whenever you commentate. I'd like to thank the admins here, Josh, Wiley, and Tim. Congratulations to Josh on the win tonight. I'd like to thank my teammates at XFM, my friends and family who are watching. Thanks to you guys. And also, thanks to my girlfriend, Brittany.
Grant Wesley, he's your season 56 Talladega Challenge champion. He's also your bracket series champion as he doubles down here tonight with championship trophies in the season finale at Talladega. Congratulations once again, Grant. Well deserved. And man, like you said, we're looking forward to seeing you go right back to work when we begin the new season, season 57.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Bob Seminara. Good fight there in the brackets.
Grant Wesley going to continue the celebration here for a long, long time. I believe beginning of September is when the new season of the Tally Challenge will begin. So I kind of sound like he hasn't quite had it sink in there, Donnie. It's gonna take a little bit of time. Maybe go back over watching the broadcast or something to finally realize that it is real. It has happened because like we said, he's been close so many times here in the past few seasons.
Oh yeah, I've heard a little breakup in his voice there, and this is a big series, and I'm part of it, and I love it, and I mean, I wish I could have been out there tonight, and hopefully in these next couple of weeks I can get this connection of mine straightened out. But hey, not about me. It's all about these guys tonight, and it's like I say, it's one of the best places to race. It's one of the most challenging places to race, and that's why this we're in season if it will be season 57, that's a lot of seasons to be racing, and it just goes to show you the competition. I think it's some of the best super speedway racing in the country. I'll put us against anybody out there, and you saw it tonight with the strategies that were in play, and looking forward to next season. And hopefully, I'm down there on the track, and you can be up here doing your thing. I'll be down there doing my thing.
I think Josh Metallic put it perfectly. You show up every week because you don't know what kind of a race you're going to have. So many different elements, so many different factors, so many talented drivers, and it's at Talladega, maybe one of the most unpredictable super speedways out there. We've seen it all season long, the elation of success, the heartbreak of defeat and elimination, and it all culminated here tonight with the championship on the line. Everybody that tuned in tonight and during the season, we appreciate you all. Josh Metallic, your winner in the season finale. Grant Wesley, your champion. And Donnie, appreciate you joining me up here in the booth. It's been great to be able to get the driver insight. I know, as you said, you'd like to have been out there with these guys, mixing it up in this season finale, but it's been a blast having you up here in the booth with me.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you carrying me tonight and helping me out with the broadcast here. And like I say, yeah, like I say, give you a little bit of a driver's perspective of what we see in those races. And like I say, hopefully you'll be seeing me out there next season. And hopefully I'll be in those final four, trying to be up here and talking to you. And we'll see what happens. But hey, great series, great season, and look forward to many more.
Absolutely. Again, as stated, the new season of the Tally Challenge, season 57, scheduled to be underway at the beginning of September. But Next time you see the RTG drivers on your screen will be this Monday night on August 15th. We're going to be bringing you coverage here on the Flatout Racing Network of the RTG Speedway All-Star Open and All-Star Race. The Open will be getting underway, scheduled for 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so be sure to join us for that one. Once again, congratulations to Josh Metallic on the victory here tonight in the finale, and Grant Wesley on being your Season 56 Talladega Challenge champion. For Donnie Garrett, I'm Seth Cole. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, folks. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of the Flatout Racing Network.
Woo!
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.